Admiral Kextar stood on the bridge of his massive warship and looked at the small blue planet through the main window. The planet looked so tiny and weak from where his ship waited near the moon. He had seen many worlds like this one before. All of them had fallen to his forces without much trouble. "Sir, the scanning is complete," said Tactical Officer Nixavel as he walked up to the Admiral. His forearms carried data pads filled with information about the planet below. The species calls their world Earth. They are primitive creatures who barely know how to leave their own atmosphere. Kextar laughed and took one of the data pads. The information made him laugh even more. These humans had only been in space for less than 100 years. They still used chemical rockets that moved slower than his personal transport shuttle. Their weapons were simple explosives and metal projectiles. Most of their people did not even have access to basic energy weapons. "Look at this," Kextar said, pointing at images on the screen. "They fight each other constantly. Their planet is divided into hundreds of different groups. They cannot even agree on simple things like trade or borders. How can creatures like this ever hope to fight us?" Nixavel nodded and showed more data. "Our scouts report that they have something they call nuclear weapons, but these are crude devices. They can only destroy small areas and cannot be used in space. Their largest weapons are like toys compared to our plasma cannons." The bridge crew gathered around to look at the images of Earth. They saw cities with primitive buildings, roads filled with ground vehicles, and oceans with simple boats. Everything looked so backward compared to their advanced civilization. Some of the younger officers had never seen such a primitive world before. "Sir, should we prepare the standard invasion protocol?" asked Nixavel. "Of course," Kextar replied. "This will be good training for our new recruits. We will use minimal force and see how quickly they surrender. I predict they will give up within 2 days once they see our ships." Far below on Earth, life continued as normal for most humans. In Seoul, a man named Hyun sat in a deep underground room filled with computer screens and communication equipment. He wore the uniform of the South Korean military, but his office looked different from normal military command centers. The walls were covered with star maps and strange symbols that most people would not recognize. Hyun picked up a secure phone and dialed a number that connected him to similar rooms around the world. "This is Seoul Station. The Watchers have detected movement near Luna. Large ships, definitely not human origin. Estimated arrival time is 6 hours. On the other end of the line, a woman named Mina answered from a similar room in Pyongyang. Despite the political differences between their countries, Hyun and Mina had worked together for many years on this project. "Confirmed. We are seeing the same readings here. Have you contacted the others?" "Already in progress," Hyun replied. "Tae is activating the Pacific systems and Sue is preparing the orbital assets. All stations report ready status." In Japan, a scientist named Tai worked in a laboratory that officially did not exist. The building above ground looked like a normal research facility, but deep underground he oversaw technology that would surprise most humans. He pressed a series of buttons on a control panel, and across the Pacific Ocean, devices that had been waiting quietly for decades began to wake up. High above Earth, in what everyone thought was just a weather satellite, Commander Sue received the activation signal. She had been living in space for 3 years, officially conducting climate research. In reality, she commanded a network of hidden weapons and sensors that had been placed in orbit over the past 20 years. "All stations, this is Orbital Command." Sue spoke into her communication system. "We have confirmation of incoming hostiles. Begin Phase 1 preparations immediately. Remember, we need to look surprised and helpless for as long as possible." Back on the alien command ship, Admiral Kextar was enjoying a meal with his senior officers. They talked about their previous victories and made jokes about how easy this conquest would be. The Admiral had defeated 47 worlds during his career, and Earth would be number 48. "Perhaps we should make this interesting," suggested one of the officers. "We could take bets on how long the humans will resist before they surrender." "Excellent idea," Kextar said with a wide grin. "I say they will surrender within 12 hours of our first demonstration of power. Any species this primitive will panic immediately when they see our true capabilities." The other officers laughed and began placing their own bets. Some thought the humans might last a full day. Others believed they would give up even faster. None of them bet on the humans lasting more than 2 days. "Sir," interrupted a communication officer, "we are receiving transmissions from the planet's surface. The humans appear to be talking to each other using radio waves. Should we monitor their communications? Why bother? Kekstar replied. Let them chatter all they want. Soon they will be begging us for mercy in whatever primitive languages they speak. On Earth, the chatter was indeed increasing, but it was not the panicked screaming the aliens expected. Instead, calm voices reported status updates and confirmed the activation of systems that had been hidden for decades. London Station reports all assets online. Moscow confirms readiness. Status. Beijing acknowledges Phase 1. Initiation. Washington signals full preparation. Complete. From underground, bunkers and hidden facilities around the world, humanity was quietly preparing for a war they had been expecting for a very long time. The aliens thought they were attacking a primitive world caught by surprise. They had no idea they were walking into a trap that had been 50 years in the making. Admiral Kekstar ordered his fleet to move closer to Earth. His ships were massive and powerful, designed to intimidate primitive species into immediate surrender. As they approached the planet, their sensors detected the simple satellites and space stations that humans had placed in orbit. Look at these pathetic devices, laughed one of his officers. They are made of metal and plastic. Our worst scout ship has better armor than their best space station. Begin the demonstration, ordered Kekstar. Fire a warning shot near their largest space station. When they see our plasma cannons, they will understand how hopeless their situation is. The alien weapons charged with energy that could destroy a small moon. The shot fired across space, a brilliant beam of destruction that would terrify any primitive species. It passed close to the International Space Station, missing it by only a few kilometers. Inside the space station, Commander Sue watched the energy beam pass by her window. She activated her communication system and spoke in a voice that sounded appropriately scared and confused. This is the International Space Station calling all Earth stations. We have just witnessed some kind of energy weapon fired near our position. Unknown ships are approaching Earth. Please advise. Her message was broadcast on frequencies the aliens could easily monitor. To them, it sounded like exactly what they expected. A primitive human, confused and frightened by superior alien technology, but on secure channels that the aliens could not detect. So's real message was very different. All stations, the fish have taken the bait. They have revealed their weapons capabilities and positioning. Begin Phase 2 on my mark. Admiral Kekstar was pleased when he heard the human transmission. The fear in the voice confirmed everything he had expected about this primitive species. He opened a communication channel to broadcast his demands to the entire planet. Attention, creatures of Earth. I am Admiral Kekstar of the Velthari Empire. Your world now belongs to us. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. Resist us and we will destroy your cities. Comply, and we will allow most of you to live as our servants. The message was transmitted in several human languages, though the translation was poor and the tone was deliberately threatening. Kekstar expected immediate panic and quick surrender. Instead, something unexpected happened. The humans went quiet, no panicked responses, no desperate pleas for mercy, no chaotic military movements that primitive species usually displayed when faced with superior force, just silence. Sir, reported Nixvel after an hour had passed, we are not detecting the expected response patterns. The humans appear to be organizing. Organizing? Kekstar asked. What do you mean? Their communication traffic has increased, but it is structured and calm. Their military forces are moving, but in coordinated patterns. This is not typical primitive behavior, sir. For the first time since arriving at Earth, Admiral Kekstar felt a small doubt creep into his mind, but he pushed it away. These were just humans, after all. How dangerous could they possibly be? The alien ultimatum reached Earth exactly as Hyun had predicted it would. He sat in his underground command center in Seoul, watching dozens of screens showing news broadcasts from around the world. To any casual observer, the humans looked confused and scared. News reporters spoke about the mysterious ships in space. Government leaders held emergency meetings. People gathered in the streets pointing at the sky. But Hyun knew better. Every panicked movement, every confused response was part of a plan that had been practiced hundreds of times. The reporters were reading scripts prepared years ago. The government meetings were following protocols developed by international committees. Even the people in the streets were mostly trained volunteers, making sure real civilians stayed safely indoors. Mina, what is your status? Hyun spoke into his secure communication device. From her hidden bunker in North Korea, Mina replied immediately. All northern assets are in position. Our people are monitoring alien communication frequencies. They seem to believe our performance so far. Good. Remember, we need to maintain the illusion for at least another 6 hours. Tai, how are the Pacific preparations? Tay answered from his underground laboratory in Japan. All systems are online and ready. The aliens have no idea what our satellites really do. Their scans show exactly what we want them to see: primitive weather monitoring and basic communications. High above in her space station, Sue continued her act of being a confused human observer. She made regular reports that the aliens could intercept, describing their ships and asking for instructions from Earth. But through encrypted channels invisible to alien sensors, she was coordinating a network of orbital platforms that had been disguised as peaceful research stations for over 20 years. Orbital command to all ground stations. Sue transmitted on the secure channel. The aliens have deployed 60 ships in high orbit. Their formation suggests they expect no resistance. They are positioning for intimidation strikes on major population centers. Around the world, the response was swift but hidden. In Moscow, military commanders activated systems that had been built into the subway system. In London, equipment hidden beneath the Thames began powering up. In Washington, the Pentagon's basement levels revealed rooms that officially did not exist. In Beijing, ancient tunnels that tourists thought were historical sites opened to reveal very modern weapons. The aliens had done their research, but their research was wrong. They had studied human news broadcasts, monitored internet communications, and observed military exercises. Everything they saw confirmed that humans were a divided primitive species with simple technology and no unity. They had no way of knowing that the news they monitored was carefully edited. The communications they intercepted were deliberately misleading. The military exercises they observed were designed to hide humanity's true capabilities. For 50 years, ever since the first crashed alien scout ship had been recovered in the Siberian wilderness, Earth's governments had been working together in secret. The crashed ship had taught humanity 2 important lessons. First, they were not alone in the universe. Second, they were not ready to defend themselves, so they had prepared. Admiral Kextar stood on his bridge, growing more puzzled by the hour. His tactical officers continued to report strange behavior patterns from the humans below. "Sir, the communication traffic we are monitoring does not match expected panic responses," reported Nixavel. "The humans are maintaining organized communication networks. Their leaders are making calm, coordinated statements. Perhaps they are simply too primitive to understand the danger they face," Kextar replied, but his voice carried less confidence than before. "Begin Phase 2. Deploy landing forces to major population centers. A closer demonstration of our power will make them understand." 12 alien landing craft launched from the main fleet. Each ship carried enough firepower to level a human city, and enough soldiers to control millions of primitive inhabitants. They moved toward Earth's surface. Their destinations including New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, Tokyo, and Seoul. As the alien craft entered Earth's atmosphere, something happened that surprised Kextar. Instead of panic, the humans seemed to be ready for them. Air raid sirens sounded in major cities, but instead of chaotic evacuation, the response was orderly and fast. Streets cleared within minutes as people moved to predetermined safe locations. Military vehicles appeared from nowhere, taking defensive positions with speed that suggested extensive preparation. "Sir," reported a confused communication officer, "the humans appear to have evacuation plans, very detailed evacuation plans." In Seoul, Hyun watched the alien landing craft approaching on his screens. "Mina, they are coming in exactly as we predicted. Formation Delta, 6 ships heading for major Asian cities." "Confirmed," Mina replied. "Our field teams are in position. Remember, let them land first. We need them committed before we reveal anything." The first alien ship landed in a park in central Seoul. The huge craft settled onto the grass, its landing system scorching the earth around it. Soldiers in advanced armor began emerging from the ship, carrying weapons that glowed with energy. To their surprise, they were met not by running crowds of terrified humans, but by empty streets and the sound of approaching vehicles. "Where are all the inhabitants?" asked the alien squad leader. "Our intelligence indicated this area had millions of creatures living here." Before anyone could answer, human military vehicles appeared at both ends of the street. But these were not the primitive machines the aliens expected. The vehicles moved too quietly, their armor looked too advanced, and their weapons appeared far more sophisticated than the projectile weapons in the alien intelligence reports. Squad leader to command ship, the alien reported. We are encountering unexpected resistance. The human military equipment appears more advanced than our intelligence suggested. Similar reports began coming in from landing sites around the world. In London, alien forces found themselves facing British soldiers with equipment that seemed decades ahead of what their scouts had observed. In Moscow, Russian forces deployed weapons that the aliens had never seen before. In New York, American military units appeared with technology that matched or exceeded alien expectations. How is this possible? Demanded Admiral Kekstar. Our intelligence was thorough. We monitored this species for months before beginning our invasion. Nixavel studied the incoming reports with growing concern. Sir, it appears our intelligence was incomplete. The humans seem to have been hiding their true capabilities. On Earth, the hidden war machine that humanity had built over 5 decades was finally revealing itself. The aliens had been watching Earth for months, but they had only seen what humans wanted them to see. In Seoul, Hyun coordinated the first engagement between human and alien forces. The aliens had superior individual weapons, but the humans had superior tactics, better positioning, and most importantly, they were fighting on ground they had prepared for this exact scenario. Team 1. Use the underground tunnels to flank their left side, Hyun commanded. Team 2, activate the concealed weapons in buildings 7 and 12. Team 3, begin electronic warfare protocols. The aliens had expected to face confused, desperate humans with primitive weapons. Instead, they found themselves fighting coordinated forces that seemed to know exactly how alien tactics worked. Human soldiers moved through tunnels that had not appeared on any scan. Weapons emerged from buildings that had looked completely civilian. Electronic systems that the aliens had dismissed as primitive communication networks began jamming alien equipment. In Japan, Tae activated the first of Earth's hidden satellite weapons. What the aliens had detected as weather monitoring stations revealed their true purpose. Targeted electromagnetic pulses struck alien landing craft, disabling their weapon systems and communications. Orbital command. This is Pacific Station, Tae reported to Sue. First wave of satellites has engaged. Alien landing forces are experiencing equipment failures. From her space station, Sue coordinated the orbital battle. Her station and dozens of others that the aliens had ignored as harmless research platforms began working together as an integrated defense network. All stations. Begin Phase 3 operations, Sue commanded. Time to stop pretending we are primitive. Across Earth's orbit, satellites that had been disguised as simple communication and weather monitoring devices began revealing their true capabilities. Solar panels folded back to expose weapon systems. Scientific instruments transformed into targeting sensors. What had appeared to be peaceful space exploration became a coordinated military operation. The aliens had made a fundamental error. They had assumed that a species that appeared primitive was actually primitive. They had not considered that a species might deliberately appear less advanced than they really were. Admiral Kekstar watched in growing alarm as his carefully planned invasion began falling apart. His landing forces were encountering organized resistance. His ships were being targeted by weapons that should not exist. His intelligence about human capabilities was proving completely wrong. Sir, we are receiving reports of significant casualties, Nixavel reported. Ground forces are requesting immediate support. They are facing resistance levels far beyond our projections. Admiral Kekstar stared at the battle reports in disbelief. Half of his landing forces were either destroyed or trapped. The humans were not only fighting back, but they were winning. This was supposed to be an easy conquest of a primitive world. Instead, it was becoming the worst military disaster of his career. Get me a full analysis of human capabilities, he ordered Nixavel. I want to know how we got this so wrong. While the aliens tried to understand what was happening, the truth was finally being revealed on Earth. In underground facilities around the world, the real story of human preparation was unfolding. Yun stood in his command center, no longer pretending to be confused or surprised. The screens around him showed a global military operation that had been 50 years in the making. He opened a communication channel to address his fellow commanders around the world. All stations, this is Seoul. Phase 3 is now active. We can stop hiding our true capabilities. Begin full disclosure protocols. Around the world, the response was immediate. Blast doors opened in secret facilities. Camouflaged weapon systems revealed themselves. Hidden factories began producing advanced equipment at incredible speed. The primitive, divided Earth that the aliens thought they were invading simply disappeared, replaced by a unified, militarized planet that had been preparing for this moment for decades. In North Korea, Mina walked through corridors filled with technology that would amaze most humans. Her facility was one of dozens built in secret cooperation between nations that publicly claimed to hate each other. The Cold War, the political tensions, the military buildups that the aliens had observed were all carefully crafted theater, designed to hide the truth. "Command, this is Pyongyang Station," Mina reported. "We are activating the Asian tunnel networks. All underground military installations are now fully operational." The tunnels Mina referenced were not just in North Korea. They connected to similar systems in South Korea, China, Japan, and Russia. What the world thought were separate national defense projects were actually parts of a single, massive underground military complex that spanned continents. In Japan, Tae was no longer hiding in his secret laboratory. He had moved to a facility that was 10 times larger, built deep under Mount Fuji. Around him, thousands of scientists and engineers worked on technology that combined human innovation with alien science recovered from crashed ships over the past 50 years. "Orbital Command, this is Mount Fuji Research," Tae called to Sue. "We are uploading the real satellite control protocols now. Your system should show full capability displays within minutes." High above Earth, Sue received the new data and smiled. The aliens had scanned her space station and seen a simple research platform with basic life support and primitive scientific equipment. They had never detected the hidden compartments, concealed weapons, or advanced communication systems built into its structure. "All orbital platforms, this is Orbital Command," Sue announced. "Begin full capability reveal. Show them what we really built up here." Around Earth's orbit, what had appeared to be a small collection of peaceful satellites suddenly became a massive defensive network. Hidden panels opened to reveal weapon systems. Concealed thrusters moved platforms into battle formations. Communication arrays that had been disguised as research equipment began coordinating targeting solutions. The aliens had counted 23 human satellites in Earth orbit. Now their sensors detected over 200 armed platforms, many of which had been hiding in plain sight for years. On his command ship, Admiral Kextar watched this transformation with growing horror. "How is this possible? Our scouts mapped every human installation in space. We accounted for every satellite, sir," reported a trembling sensor officer. "It appears the humans were camouflaging their real capabilities. Many of their satellites have hidden compartments and concealed systems. We only saw what they wanted us to see." The awful truth was becoming clear to the alien commander. The humans had not been caught by surprise. They had been expecting this invasion and had spent decades preparing for it. But how? How could a primitive species have known that the Velthari Empire would eventually target their world? The answer came from Hyun's facility in Seoul. He activated a holographic display that showed images the aliens had never seen before. Pictures of crashed alien ships, recovered technology, decoded alien communications. Admiral Kextar of the Velthari Empire. Hyun broadcast on frequencies he knew the aliens were monitoring. "You want to know how we were ready for you? Let me show you." The hologram displayed the wreckage of a Velthari scout ship that had crashed in Siberia in 1975. Another showed a damaged alien probe recovered from the Pacific Ocean in 1987. A third revealed the intact remains of an alien communication relay that had malfunctioned and crashed in the Amazon rainforest in 1998. "For 50 years, your people have been careless," Hyun continued. "Scout ships with navigation failures, probes with system malfunctions, communication relays that fell out of orbit. Each time we recovered your technology. Each time we learned more about you." The alien bridge was silent as they realized the implications. Dozens of minor equipment failures over the decades, each dismissed as unimportant accidents, had given humanity everything they needed to prepare for invasion. "We learned your language from your communication systems," Hyun explained. "We studied your weapons from your crashed ships. We understood your tactics from your military databases. And most importantly, we discovered that you were not the only aliens in the galaxy. We learned that invasion was inevitable." Admiral Kextar felt sick. Standard Velthari military doctrine assumed that primitive species would not be able to learn anything useful from recovered alien technology. The assumption was that the technological gap was too large for primitive minds to bridge, but humans had proven that assumption wrong. "Sir," Nixavel said quietly, "if they have been studying our technology for 50 years, then they know all our weaknesses," Kextar finished. The thought terrified him. On Earth, Mina was proving exactly that. From her command center, she coordinated attacks that exploited specific vulnerabilities in Velthari equipment. Human weapons fired pulse patterns that disrupted alien shields. Electronic warfare systems jammed frequencies that alien equipment depended on. Tactical formations attacked from directions that alien doctrine did not defend. "All ground forces, this is Pyongyang Command," Mina announced. "Execute Protocol 7. Target their power systems with frequency burst 7.2 GHz. Their shielding is vulnerable to that specific wavelength." Around the world, human forces implemented tactics that seemed impossibly well-informed. They knew exactly how alien weapons worked and exactly how to counter them. They anticipated alien strategies and had prepared responses for each one. In Japan, Tai revealed another surprise. His underground facility was not just researching alien technology. It was manufacturing human versions of alien weapons, improved with human engineering and adapted for human tactics. "Orbital Command, we are launching the surprise packages now," Tai reported to Sue. From hidden silos around the Pacific, rockets launched toward space, but these were not the primitive chemical rockets the aliens had observed during their intelligence gathering. These were advanced propulsion systems based on alien technology, carrying weapons designed specifically to fight alien ships. "What are those?" demanded Admiral Kextar as his sensors detected the approaching missiles. "Sir, they appear to be human rockets, but they are moving at speeds that should be impossible with human technology," reported a confused sensor officer. The missiles reached the alien fleet in minutes instead of hours. Their warheads were not explosive devices but electromagnetic pulse generators that had been designed to overload Velthari power systems. One by one, alien ships found their weapons offline and their shields failing. "All ships, emergency evasive maneuvers," ordered Kextar, but it was too late. The humans had planned this attack perfectly. From her space station, Sue coordinated the orbital battle with precision that amazed even the human ground controllers. Her network of hidden platforms moved with perfect coordination, surrounding alien ships and attacking from multiple directions simultaneously. "Orbital Strike Force Alpha, target the command ship's rear shields," Sue commanded. "Strike Force Beta, disable their weapon arrays. Strike Force Gamma, jam their communication systems." The humans fought like they knew exactly how alien ships were designed. They targeted specific systems in precise sequences. They exploited weaknesses that aliens thought were secret. They coordinated attacks that seemed impossible for a species that had supposedly never fought in space before. Admiral Kextar realized with growing panic that his invasion force was not just losing. It was being systematically destroyed by humans who fought with knowledge and skill that should have taken centuries to develop. "Sir, we must retreat," urged Nixavel. "Our losses are becoming catastrophic." "Retreat?" Kextar could barely speak the word. In 300 years of Velthari expansion, no admiral had ever retreated from a primitive world. "Sir, these humans are not primitive," Nixavel said urgently. "They have been studying us for decades. They know our technology better than some of our own engineers." Admiral Kextar stood frozen as his navigation officer delivered the impossible news. "Sir, our jump drives are not responding. Something is interfering with our quantum navigation systems." "That is impossible," Kextar said, but his voice shook. "Primitive species do not have quantum interference technology." From Earth's surface, Hyun provided the answer. His voice came through the alien communication systems with calm confidence. "Admiral, you keep calling us primitive. When will you learn that we have not been primitive for a very long time?" Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Tai activated systems that had been hidden on the ocean floor for 20 years. Massive quantum field generators built using technology recovered from alien wrecks created interference patterns that disrupted faster-than-light travel throughout the solar system. "The quantum barriers are now active," Tai reported to his fellow commanders. "No alien ship can leave the system until we choose to let them go." Admiral Kextar realized he was trapped. His fleet was stranded in a system with an enemy that knew all his weaknesses, and had planned for this exact situation. For the first time in his career, he was facing the possibility of complete defeat. "Sir, perhaps we should consider negotiation," suggested Nixavel. "These humans clearly have capabilities we did not expect." "Negotiation?" Kexter was horrified. "The Velthari Empire does not negotiate with primitive species. With respect, sir, these humans are clearly not primitive. On Earth, the revelation of humanity's true capabilities was accelerating. Across every continent, hidden facilities revealed themselves. Underground cities that could house millions of people emerged from concealment. Weapons factories that had been disguised as civilian industries began operating at full capacity. In Seoul, Hyun walked through command centers that rivaled anything the Velthari Empire had ever built. Hundreds of technicians coordinated global military operations using technology that combined human innovation with 50 years of alien science. "Mina, what is the status of our ground operations?" Hyun asked. From her facility in North Korea, Mina reported total success. "All alien landing forces have been neutralized or captured. We are currently interrogating prisoners and recovering their equipment. The aliens are cooperative once they realize how much we already know about their technology." The truth was that human forces had not just defeated the alien landing parties. They had captured them almost intact. Human soldiers used non-lethal weapons designed specifically to disable alien equipment without destroying it. Capture teams employed tactics that exploited alien training weaknesses. Medical teams provided treatment using knowledge of alien biology gained from decades of studying crash survivors. "Remember, we want prisoners, not casualties," Hyun had instructed his forces. "Dead aliens cannot tell us about the rest of their empire." In Japan, Tae coordinated the space battle from his underground facility. His screen showed a three-dimensional view of Earth's orbital space, where human platforms surrounded the trapped alien fleet like hunters surrounding their prey. "Sue, begin Phase 4 operations," Tae commanded. "Time to show them our real space capabilities." High above Earth, Commander Sue smiled as she received authorization for the final phase. Around her, the space station began a transformation that would have amazed any observer. Walls folded back to reveal additional compartments. Hidden arms extended advanced weapons systems. The station that had appeared to be a simple research platform revealed itself as a massive battleship. "All orbital platforms. This is command. Begin final configuration," Sue announced. Throughout Earth's orbital space, the transformation continued. What had appeared to be a small collection of scientific satellites became a fleet of armed battle stations. Platforms that had been hidden in asteroid debris revealed themselves. Ships that had been disguised as space junk powered up their weapon systems. The aliens found themselves surrounded by a space fleet that outnumbered their own forces 3-1. "How many ships do they have?" whispered a terrified alien sensor officer. "Unknown, sir," came the reply. "Our sensors are detecting new contacts every minute. They seem to have hidden ships throughout the system." The truth was even worse than the aliens realized. Humanity had not just prepared for invasion. They had prepared to capture an entire alien fleet intact. Every human weapon was designed to disable rather than destroy. Every tactic was planned to force surrender rather than achieve total annihilation. "Admiral Kextar," Hyun's voice came through the alien communication system again. "We are prepared to offer you terms for surrender." Surrender? Kextar could barely comprehend the word. "You are asking a Velthari admiral to surrender to primitives?" "We are asking a defeated military commander to accept reality," Hyun replied calmly. "Your ships are trapped, your weapons are disabled, and your forces are captured. You have two choices. Surrender now and be treated according to civilized standards of war, or continue fighting and face complete destruction." Admiral Kextar looked around his bridge. Half his control systems were offline due to human electronic warfare. His weapon systems were jammed by quantum interference. His shields were failing under continuous bombardment from weapons that seemed designed specifically to counter Velthari technology. "Sir," Nixvel said quietly, "perhaps we should listen to their terms." Before Kextar could respond, Mina's voice joined the communication from Earth. "Admiral, we should mention that we have recovered intact databases from your crashed scout ships over the years. We know about your empire's military protocols. We know that defeated commanders who lose their entire fleets face execution for incompetence." The words hit Kextar like a physical blow. She was right. If he returned to the Empire having lost his entire fleet to a supposedly primitive species, he would be executed as an example to others. However, Hyun continued, we are prepared to offer an alternative. Surrender your fleet, and we will provide you with detailed records of our military capabilities. When you eventually return to your empire, you can report that you encountered a previously unknown advanced civilization. Your superiors will understand that retreat was the only logical option. Tae added his voice to the conversation. We will also provide you with examples of our technology. Evidence that Earth is not the primitive world your intelligence suggested. Proof that your invasion failed because your information was wrong, not because your command was incompetent. From her orbital command post, Sue delivered the final argument. Admiral, you have seen our space fleet. You have experienced our weapons. You know that we could destroy your ships entirely if we chose to. We are offering you a chance to survive with your honor intact. Admiral Kextar realized that the humans were not just offering him surrender terms. They were offering him a way to save his career and possibly his life. They were giving him evidence he could present to his superiors that would justify his defeat, but it meant accepting that these primitive humans had outsmarted the entire Velthari intelligence apparatus. What? What are your terms? He asked finally. Hyun's response was immediate. Complete surrender of all Velthari forces in this system. Full cooperation with our examination of your technology. Detailed information about your empire's military capabilities and expansion plans. In exchange, we will treat your people humanely, provide medical care for your wounded, and eventually allow you to return home with evidence of our true capabilities. And if I refuse? Then we will demonstrate why 50 years of preparation has made Earth a very dangerous place for uninvited guests, Mina replied. As if to emphasize the point, human forces throughout the system activated additional weapon systems. Alien sensors detected energy signatures that matched planet-killing weapons. The humans were showing that they had the capability to completely destroy the alien fleet if they chose to. Admiral Kextar looked at his tactical displays. His fleet was surrounded, outnumbered and outgunned by an enemy that had planned for this exact scenario. His choices were surrender or total annihilation. But there was something else. Something that bothered him more than the military defeat. How? He asked. How did you know we would come? How did you prepare so perfectly for our specific tactics? Hyun's answer chilled the alien commander to his core. Admiral, we did not just prepare for you. We prepared for all of you. Every alien species that has ever visited our system, crashed on our world, or sent scouts to observe us. We have been building defenses against every possible threat for 50 years. You see, Admiral, we learned something important from your crashed ships. We learned that Earth sits at the intersection of several major space trade routes. We learned that dozens of species know about our world. We learned that invasion was not a possibility. It was an inevitability. So we prepared for everyone. The implications of this statement were staggering. The humans had not just prepared to fight the Velthari Empire. They had prepared to fight any alien species that might threaten their world. They had turned their entire planet into a fortress designed to defeat any possible invasion force. Admiral Kextar realized that he had not just underestimated a primitive species. He had attacked what might be the most heavily defended world in this part of the galaxy. I need time to consider your terms, he said finally. 1 year later, the Galactic Council chambers buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from hundreds of species filled the massive hall, all waiting to hear from the newest applicants for membership. At the center of the room, a small delegation from Earth sat calmly at a table that seemed too simple for such an important occasion. Admiral Kextar sat in the observers section, no longer wearing the uniform of a Velthari fleet commander. His demotion had been swift after his return home, but his life had been spared thanks to the evidence the humans had provided. The detailed records of Earth's military capabilities had convinced his superiors that retreat had been the only logical option. Now he served as a military analyst, studying human tactics and capabilities. It was humbling work, but it had taught him things about warfare that the Velthari Empire had never considered. At the human delegation table, Ambassador Jun reviewed his notes one final time. Beside him sat Hyun, now serving as Earth's military attaché. Mina had been appointed as head of interstellar intelligence operations. Tae served as chief technology officer for human-alien relations. Even Sue was present, having been promoted to commander of Earth's expanding space fleet. "The Council recognizes the delegation from Earth," announced the Council President, a tall being from the ancient Jekmaran Empire. "You have requested membership in our alliance. Please present your qualifications." Ambassador June stood and activated a holographic display. The first image showed Earth as it appeared from space, a small, blue world that looked peaceful and unremarkable. "Honorable Council members, we represent the species known as humans from the planet Earth. We understand that membership in this alliance requires demonstration of certain capabilities. We believe our recent encounter with the Velthari Empire provides adequate proof of our qualifications." Murmurs ran through the chamber. Every species present knew about the Velthari defeat at Earth. The news had spread quickly through galactic communication networks, causing shock and concern throughout known space. The Velthari were known as effective conquerors. Their military machine had absorbed dozens of worlds over the centuries. The idea that they had been defeated by a previously unknown species was disturbing to many council members. "The Velthari Empire was indeed defeated at your world," acknowledged the council president. "However, we have conflicting reports about the nature of this victory. Some sources claim it was achieved through treachery or luck rather than genuine military capability." Hyun stood and bowed respectfully. "Honorable President, we would be happy to clarify any confusion about our victory." The holographic display changed to show detailed recordings of the battle. Human space platforms revealed themselves from concealment. Ground forces demonstrated coordination and equipment that surprised the alien observers. Orbital weapons disabled Velthari ships with precision strikes. "As you can see," Hyun explained, "our victory was achieved through careful preparation and superior tactics. We studied our enemy for 50 years before they arrived. We understood their capabilities and planned accordingly." A representative from the Korthak Federation raised a tentacle in question. How could a species that had not achieved interstellar travel study an advanced empire for 50 years? Tay stood to answer. "We recovered technology from crashed alien vessels over several decades. These included Velthari scout ships, but also equipment from at least 12 other species. We learned that our world was known to many galactic civilizations and that contact was inevitable." The display showed images of crashed ships, recovered technology, and the underground facilities where human scientists had worked to understand alien science. "We realized," Tay continued, "that if we waited for contact to occur naturally, we would be at a severe disadvantage. So we chose to prepare while maintaining the appearance of a primitive species." "Deception," said a representative from the proud Veltari hegemony. "You gained victory through lies and trickery." Mina rose to respond, her voice calm but firm. "We gained victory through intelligence and preparation. We studied every crashed ship, decoded every communication relay, and analyzed every piece of alien technology we could find. We learned about galactic politics, military tactics, and technological capabilities. Then we prepared appropriate defenses." The holographic display showed the true extent of humanity's preparations. Underground tunnel networks spanning continents. Orbital weapons platforms disguised as research stations. Manufacturing facilities hidden beneath civilian cities. A global military network that had operated in secret for decades. "We did not lie about our capabilities," Mina explained. "We simply chose not to reveal them until necessary. This is a standard military tactic, employed by species throughout the galaxy, including the Velthari themselves," added Hyun. "Admiral Kekstar's forces used concealment and misdirection throughout their approach to our system. They hid their true numbers, disguised their intentions, and attempted to intimidate us into surrender through psychological warfare." Admiral Kekstar shifted uncomfortably in his seat. The human was correct, and everyone in the chamber knew it. Ambassador June activated a new section of the holographic display. "However, our defensive capabilities are not our only qualification for council membership. We believe our response to victory demonstrates our commitment to civilized conduct." The display showed images of captured Velthari soldiers receiving medical treatment in human facilities. Alien prisoners were housed in comfortable conditions and treated according to standards that impressed even veteran diplomats. Despite the hostile nature of their arrival, we treated captured Velthari personnel humanely, June explained. We provided medical care, respected their customs, and eventually returned them to their empire with evidence of our true capabilities. Furthermore, added Sue, we have begun sharing certain technological innovations with other species. Our advances in quantum field manipulation and electromagnetic pulse weapons are being made available to any civilization that requests them for defensive purposes. This statement caused a stir in the chamber. Species rarely shared advanced military technology, especially not with potential rivals. The council president raised a hand for silence. These are indeed impressive demonstrations of capability and character. However, one question remains. What are your intentions regarding galactic expansion? Do you plan to become a conquering force like the Velthari? Ambassador June smiled. Honorable President, we have no interest in conquest. Our preparations were entirely defensive in nature. We built a fortress, not an invasion fleet. However, he continued, we are very interested in cooperation and mutual defense. We believe that species working together are stronger than species working alone. We propose the creation of an expanded mutual defense network that would protect all member worlds from future threats. Hyun stepped forward. Our analysis of recovered alien technology suggests that there are threats in this galaxy far more dangerous than the Velthari Empire. We have detected evidence of automated war machines, hostile artificial intelligences, and nomadic destroyer fleets that consume entire star systems. The chamber fell silent. These were threats that individual species could not face alone. Earth's defensive network could be expanded to protect multiple worlds, Tay offered. Our quantum interference technology could prevent hostile forces from using faster-than-light travel in protected systems. Our orbital weapon platforms could be deployed around any member world. In exchange, Mina added, we would request access to galactic knowledge networks, trade agreements that benefit all parties, and cooperation in monitoring potential threats. The council president looked around the chamber, gauging the reactions of the various species representatives. After several minutes of whispered consultations, he spoke again. The council will now vote on Earth's application for membership. The voting process took less than an hour. When it was complete, the result was nearly unanimous approval. Welcome to the Galactic Council, the president announced. Earth is now a full member with all rights and responsibilities thereof. As the ceremony continued, Admiral Kextar reflected on the changes that had occurred since the failed invasion. The Velthari Empire had been forced to abandon its expansionist policies. Other aggressive species had reconsidered their own plans for conquest. The galaxy had become a more peaceful place almost overnight, all because of a small blue planet that had refused to be conquered. 6 months later, Admiral Kextar found himself aboard an Earth vessel, part of a joint patrol fleet monitoring the galaxy's outer rim. The ship was a marvel of human engineering, fast, well-armed, and designed for long-range exploration. Captain Sue, now commanding the flagship of Earth's interstellar fleet, found him on the observation deck looking out at the stars. Any regrets, Admiral? She asked. Kextar considered the question carefully. I regret that my empire chose conquest over cooperation for so many years. We could have learned much from species like yours if we had approached as friends rather than conquerors. It is not too late, Sue replied. The galaxy is large enough for all of us to prosper together. As their ship continued its patrol of the outer systems, both officers watched for signs of the greater threats that lurked in the darkness between stars.